So, as you just saw, this episode 5 is a Aston Martin Vanquish S, which is coming in for sort of a minor correction with coatings. So, got 3 days spent on this car, so probably it's going to be the best results I can achieve in those 3 days. Time to prep it all up, get it all clean, fully decontaminated. It is raining right now, so I will probably time lapse the prep and get a little bit of GoPro action for the close-ups, mix up the angles a bit. Let's do it. So the Aston Martin is all blown down, clay barred, fully decontaminated and dried. Just had a quick look around the paintwork, classic Aston Martin, as I will show you. So you can see, without even having any real force lighting, I mean these are just the roof lights, look at the sanding marks by the door. Literally makes it look grey in the light. They're so bad, and then when you do get the proper lights on them, you can see just how tight they are. So that's where they've got in there with the sander, and then up the top there as well. Wow. So those are some very tight sanding marks all the way along the door. You see like sort of a burnt strip. What a mess. There is a whole lot going on. More sanding marks underneath the carbon fibre trim there. A bit of a paint chip there. Big swirls. Looks like they've chilled out a bit on the sanding marks. Oh wait, there's more there. So, I mean, I won't run around the whole car explaining every patch of sanding marks, but as you can see, the car has a lot of factory induced defects. Got buffer trails all the way along the bottom here. See those sort of almost look like legs coming off the light. Those are the buffer trails. Yeah, so you can see the paintwork underneath. There's a lovely finish, so it's going to look amazing once it's done. Just got to find the combination that works best for this paintwork. Nice little scratch running all the way along there as well. I'll just quickly run around the car, and if I find anything else that's significant, I'll chuck it in. But if not, just going to get started on the test spot, and then we'll get polishing. Oh, I should probably explain the change of scenery. I am actually doing this car at the owner's house. He's got the space for it, he's got the garage, he's got the lighting. So we're doing it here. Got to be a bit careful with the background. You'll see some very cool cars in the background, but all the plates are covered, and enjoy the polishing. So that's the final finish. Looks really nice. And that's the before. that time lapse you just saw was me doing the bonnet. So the bonnet's all cut. I actually used a slightly different combination to what I showed you when I was testing. Bumped it up a little bit as it wasn't quite getting 100% of the cut I wanted. So bumped it up a notch, a little bit more aggressive compound, and it's looking really good now. So literally on the bonnet, I've done everything except the hybrid work. So all of the like edges and the vents need to do it with a really little polisher, the really tiny polisher. And then what do I do next? I'll do the roof next. There's a massive carbon fibre roof, so we'll see how that reacts. It might be way softer than the rest of the car, is normally the case. But yeah, it's going well. What a beautiful car and lovely paintwork. The metallic flake is really coming through. It's looking lovely. So, on to the next area.
You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
So you see, it's very hazy on the left, but there aren't any marks in there anymore. And then as you go to the right, you get all the buffer trails back, you get the swirls back. But it is much glossier and much crisper. Why do I always struggle to say crisper? Much crisper, which is what we will get once we've refined this area, and then we'll get an even better finish. Here is that exact same spot once this area has been refined. Actually, let me get rid of these lights. Let's flip them around. Just so you can see that now this side is the bit that looks grey, because this side is the perfect, really flaky finish, beautiful paintwork. And this is the before, where you've got the buffer trails, got the swirls, and just that dullness to the colour, that the lack of clarity and depth that you get when you come over here. So yeah, although it looks like you're making it worse, because you are really, once you refine it, it gets a lot better.
I am who I'm meant to be. I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity, so I could see how you react.
So that's a wrap on the first day on the Aston Martin Vanquish S. Just packing everything up, tidy it on all the way, ready to get started tomorrow morning on the second day. Probably done about a third of the car, which is pretty good progress, considering I only really started polishing it at about 1 o'clock this afternoon, and it's 10 to 5 now. So hopefully smash the rest of it out tomorrow, see how much I can get done. I'd like to finish tomorrow all the cutting, so that way on Friday I come in, do the refining, put the coating on, good to go. So I'll see you tomorrow.
Exactly where I wanna be. I am where I wanna be. Remember the start. Remember the start. When my future needed clarity. Yes, I needed clarity. So I could see how you'd react. How you'd react to me.
Day 2 on the Vanquish S. Make my way around the front bumper, carbon fibre bits. It's coming up really well.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm
So I've just started cutting this carbon fibre bottom side skirt. and as you can see, it's got really well all the way along until it gets to here, and those are the sanding marks that still, after one pass of the cutting pad and cutting compound, are still there. So this is where I'm going to go again, obviously, because even though this is a minor correction, this is something that I would never want to leave behind. As you can actually sort of see it without the light very faintly, it just brings out, it sort of blocks off the true gloss and the finish of the carbon fibre. So I'll just go ahead and do another pass and remove that. There's quite a few of these around the car, which is very annoying, but classic Aston Martin.
You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. I am who I'm meant to be. I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity.
So on the right there, all the swirls over here, and then as you get a bit closer, you've got all the really hard sanding marks to the point where the light can't even really be seen. It's all blurred together. And then you come over to the area that I've cut and refined. Camera doesn't do it justice, but it is an amazing finish. You can see, compared to what we've had before here, it's an amazing transformation.
Doubted all that I could do, knowing what I need to do. All I can say, the word is thank you. I think it's what you need to push away from the shore, amongst the waves. Exactly where I wanna be. I am where I wanna be. Remember the start, when my future needed clarity. Yes, I needed clarity, so I could see how you'd react, how you'd react to me. So much differently, 'cause I am different to you. Every time that I look back, I see my future. Would you react to me?
So what you saw there was me doing basically the top half of this door, and there was so much sanding marks. That was an hour, that time lapse, and I've literally only done the top of the door and this section here, which has sanding marks running the whole way along the top and underneath. So basically almost 2 cuts on each area with the hybrid, so very time consuming work, but got rid of them all now, so it is going to be worth it. Just very frustrating because it's so slow. Time to crack on with the rest of the door and hope there's no more sanding marks, but I'm sure there'll be loads more. 8:04 on Friday, last day. Let's cut the rear bumper and door sill, then we'll head on to the refining work and get the coating on, then get the aftershots hopefully. Where's my light gone? Okay, it's over there, but as you can see, this paintwork comes up beautifully. And that's just cut, obviously not refined. So it's gonna get even better than that. Just show you the other side, just to give you some context of how bad it was. So this area, still to do. There you go. Pretty bad. Just a quick shot underneath the rear diffuser that you just saw me doing. See, this car is going to be almost perfect everywhere, not just on the areas you can see. Earlier on you saw me polishing underneath the spoiler. You can see there, it's perfect. And now even the lowest sections of the rear diffuser, so now I'll go on to do these bits as well. Hand polishing with a tiny bit of the microfiber cloth cut off underneath the spoiler where absolutely no machine could ever get to, because you can't even take the spoiler off like it's a one piece. So just got to do the best I can do under there, which is by hand. And then when I do the refining with the big white pad, it's much more flexible, so I'll actually be able to get a bit more range of motion or range of movement underneath the spoiler to clear it up even more. Cutting is all done, so time to have a little tidy up, wipe the whole car down, and we'll blow it off, wipe the car down, just remove any compound residue. That phone's gonna ruin this clip. Go ahead and do the refining polish, and we'll start to get that amazing finish. Then we'll go ahead and wipe the car down again and put the coating on. Let's get it. Right, so that is the refinement all complete. Car is looking very, very glossy. Now I just need to wipe it all over again, wipe it down, just to make sure there's no dust or wax or no polish residue, and then I can go ahead and start on the coating. Car is all done, all coated up. I'm just going to go around the toothpick and microfiber and get all the polish residue, because there was actually a lot before I even started on it in some of the cracks and especially the headlights, and tidy up the badges just to add the finishing touch, and then clean the glass, and that's it, it's done. Get some after shots and show you how much of an amazing job it is.
I am who I'm meant to be. I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity.